thousands attending his funeral, that Demirtaş decided to devote his life to the Kurdish cause. After graduating with a law degree from Ankara University, he worked as a human rights lawyer and joined the executive board of the Diyarbakır branch of the Human Rights Association, which Vedat Aydin himself had once headed. Demirtaş soon earned himself the nickname Bones on account of his dogged commitment to recovering the bodies of PKK fighters and returning them to their families for burial. The undeclared war raged on, with no end in sight. In 2007, when Demirtaş won his first seat in the National Assembly as an independent, Recep Tayyip Erdoğan had been prime minister for 4 years. His chief ally was the Islamist cleric Fethullah Gulen, who, though living in exile in rural Pennsylvania, presided over a vast empire of schools, banks, and newspapers, and was believed to have filled the state's institutions with his supporters. Erdoğan's chief adversary was the staunchly secularist military. A protracted power struggle ended with his charging the leadership of the 3 branches of the armed forces with treason. Most were still incarcerated when the leader of the PKK, also in prison, announced that he was prepared to discuss a ceasefire. As talks progressed, Demirtaş became an increasingly powerful voice, not just at the negotiating table but in public, advocating for peace and a nation in which Turks and Kurds might work together, arm in arm, as he put it, to salvage Turkey's crippled democracy. In 2012, he helped to found the People's Democratic Party, HDP, which soon reached voters well beyond its Kurdish base. Educated Turks, particularly younger ones, were impressed by the party's embrace of cultural and political diversity, its call for peaceful reconciliation, and its commitment to gender equality. This last commitment was reflected in its institutional structure, modelled on the German Green Party's co-leadership system, in which roles were shared between a woman and a man at every level. In 2014, when Demirtaş stepped up to the party's top position, he did so alongside a female colleague, Figen Yüksekdağ. The party's charter also called for an autonomous women's congress. Charged with mainstreaming women's concerns, it played a key part in the selection of nominations, encouraging women to step forward and setting their application fee at half the fee set for men. In June 2015, the People's Democratic Party fought its first general election. It came in 4th, winning 13% of the vote and 80 of the Grand National Assembly's 550 seats. This unprecedented victory might have marked a new era in national politics had it not been complicated by other machinations on the political chessboard. Having cleansed and tamed the army, replacing his old enemies with his own supporters, Erdoğan was becoming steadily more autocratic. Shedding his pluralist rhetoric, he had reverted to the old monolithic nationalism. With this came a growing mistrust of Kurdish ambitions. The conflict in neighbouring Syria, and particularly its Kurdish fighters, much admired in the West for holding back ISIS, posed a dangerous example. Once again, tanks rolled into the cities of the Kurdish southeast. Curfews were imposed, often lasting days, trapping residents in their homes with limited food and water amid gunfire and bombs. As their neighbourhoods turned to rubble, they were prevented even from burying their dead. Back in Ankara, meanwhile, the Islamist alliance had come apart. Following a series of high-profile corruption cases launched by the pro-Gulen judiciary and police against Erdoğan's Justice and Development Party, AKP, the nation's 2 leading Islamist groups were now bitter political foes. Then on July 15, 2016, came one of the most bizarre and bloodiest attempted coups that Turkey, a veteran of unusual coups, has ever seen. Live streamed